What is your name?
I'm Agent 120. My cover identity for this mission is Shredlord Yuri Molotov.
Can you please describe your mission?
The mission is known by Control as Operation Ascalon. Ascalon was the name of the sword St. George used to slay the dragon, but sending 2 agents against the mighty resources of Russia, maybe they should have called it Operation Toothpick. Myself and Agent 104 have travelled here to Mestia, in the heart of the Svaneti region, to collect information about Russian insurgents. Control has identified that a crack unit of Putin's Alpine troops known as the Vodka Bogans is present in this area. They are masquerading as snowboarding Russian tourists, but destabilising the area by sabotaging electricity supply, interrupting internet communications, and blocking key roads. Our initial goal is to identify the Vodka Bogans and gather intelligence on their activities.
How is the mission going so far?
It was off to a rough start. I was subject to a toxin attack on the journey here to Georgia, and our travel to Mestia itself was stymied by road sabotage. This made us suspicious our covers were blown before we even arrived. Who knows how secure Control is with this kind of multinational operation. We had to hole up in a safe house in Zubedi for a couple of days until we knew it was safe. Now we're here in Mestia. It seems like a suicide mission. Why did they choose us? We don't speak Russian. We don't snowboard. We've taken cover identities as skiers, but I don't even know how to ski powder.
What is your name?
I'm Secret Agent 104. My cover identity for this operation is Felicity Skiwell. Skiwell by name, ski averagely by reputation.
Can you give us a mission update?
We've had some initial success. The Vodka Bogans are all over town. You can see them at restaurants, and they convoy about in packs of Mitsubishi Delica four-wheel drive vans, making very little effort to cover their identities. Despite mobile coverage at the ski resorts, they constantly communicate via UHF radios, but they never seem to try and hide these transmissions, sometimes even having multiple transmissions going on multiple chairlifts. The feedback is incredible. There's plenty of evidence of their handiwork too. Constant power outages, internet disruptions. The road to Mestia has been blocked several times, also the road to Ushkali too. There's even traps waiting for unwitting four-wheel drives, huge craters in the road, ready to take out your front suspension or even your front axle. We need to keep skiing to keep our cover, but we also need to find a way to infiltrate their operations and find out what they're planning next. But we need a strategy for this. We can't be seen to be liaising with snowboarders.
Mission status update. We've been on a roller coaster ride. Control decided to back us up after receiving our initial reports. Some highly trained NATO elites were due to come in under the guise of Freeride World Tour athletes as part of the Georgia Pro. Control must have had this plan in place before we even arrived. but didn't tell us until we got here, in case we were compromised en route. But then, just as we thought the cavalry were about to arrive, disaster. An agent at the local centre of resistance, known as Cafe Lila, alerted us to an intercepted Russian communication referencing an operation they called Persistent Weak Layer. Bloody cunning Russians. Intel about the FWT must have leaked to them, and they sabotaged the snowpack. We'd assumed the vast amounts of vodka we'd seen them with was what they were running the Delika vans on, but it turns out they've been injecting it deep into the snowpack. Alcohol doesn't freeze, so it has formed a sliding layer between the ground and the snow, weakening the bond and stability of the snowpack, especially on slopes steeper than 30 degrees. They cancelled the Georgia Pro. Too dangerous. The cavalry ain't coming. Things are getting hot around here. Too hot. I'm worried our identities have been revealed, so we're going to hole up in a safe house in the Beko Valley for a couple of days and do some skiing.
have 3,000 metre peaks that just have grass on top.
Mission Report 17. While at Ushba, we came up with a new strategy. Control informed us it is safe to return to Mestia, but we found a new hideout, just to be sure. We're on our own now, so we have to find a way to infiltrate the vodka bogans and discover their plans. We've been able to catch them sabotaging the transportation network and communications infrastructure. But what's next? Our plan now is to approach them directly and offer them conversion therapy. If we saw their boards in half down the middle, they will have split boards, and we can offer to take them touring outside of the resort, because you only trust a snowboarder that has 4 edges. If we can isolate 1 or 2 of them, this way we might be able to flip them, or at least extract some useful intel. If nothing else, they might know where the persistent weak layers are.
Promise that we'll never quit. So drunk, though our hands surely woven. Entire fleets of stagger and share.
There's horses.
Now our ships land the flows of the ocean. And the oceans breach on the edge. And the terrified dreams of our wandering.
The mountains. And then you get to touring in Europe,
That once lit our way.
where there are many tracks. Many tracks. Pretty good bowl though.
We want punks in the palace.
It always is powder.
Yeah.
Alright,
High legs.
so tired.
Because punks got the loveliest dreams. And our gang is liquid and lovely. And smile and sway and rain.
Here we are above Ushguli. Some pretty good touring terrain. Below the 3,000 meter peak. Big ball.
And burn with a child.
some big mountains. It's Russia on the other side there. No sounds of gunfire at the moment. Usually it's down in this valley down
and trumpets the labor. Of waken and trial. Sometimes there is banged and better, but cling to it. Powers the province of miserable pricks. There ain't none, but sometimes there is. Policemen in parallel lines. Blind, blind, blind. The broken bones of quivering pines. While empty waters rise. May the light of our striving still shine. Blind, blind, blind.
Time to do our daily check-in on Ushba from Ushguli. Checking in. Yep, still looks rad.
It's really important whenever you go ski touring to bring your toothbrush with you, just in case you feel like brushing your teeth before your descent.
You got to have clean teeth for the descent.
Yeah, it's really important. You don't want to be sending the nah with dirty teeth.
Also useful for cleaning the snow off the crevices of your bindings.
Yeah, use the same type of brush for both, right?
Absolutely.
Love the horse, or leave the horse. Love the horse, or leave
punishment. Axes through skulls, shadow of futility, endless revolt, the shifting of light and shadows. No one is right. Nothing is solid. Nothing can be held in my hand for long.
We've been in Georgia for 34,563 minutes. Thought we were getting somewhere. Thought we were getting somewhere. We even skipped powder. Our cover is blown. They were watching us the whole time. We did get to skip powder. We thought we were learning something. Thought we were getting somewhere. But they were watching us the whole time. The dogs. The stray dogs, they're everywhere. They're part of the network. I can't believe you don't know. I can't believe you don't know what I'm talking about. The tech race has been going on between the US and the Soviets for decades. The space race, the nuclear arms race. The US thought they'd won out with their avian intelligence program. But they were wrong. The Russians were watching the whole time. I can't believe you don't know this. Birds aren't real. Have you not heard of this? So birds are bionic drones made by the US government. They fly around observing people. They sit on power lines to recharge. They're semi-autonomous. Do you not know about this? Anyway, the Russians have the dogs. Man's best friend. One in nearly every home. Apparently they're all bred from Laika. The Russians have the dog. Street dog. It was the first animal in orbit. Apparently they're all bred from Laika. Anyway, they've infiltrated Georgia. You know, thousands of these dogs. Street dog. It was the first animal in orbit. Observing everything. They kept her genetics. They've written thousands of families that infiltrated Georgia, gathering intel. They're everywhere. There's one on every corner. We fed the dogs. Our cover is blown. They know everything. We need immediate extraction. Watch out, Jack. Watching.
hearts are true. Some hearts are true. Some hearts are true. Some hearts are true. Some hearts are true.